Hi, my name is Caroline Clegg, and this is my final presentation of Corporate Canvas Company, my event planning company. So starting out with the business description, Corporate Canvas Company is a corporate event planning company that specializes in making impactful experiences by designing and executing events that reflect your brand's identity and values. We help brands create an environment that connects and inspires by offering a variety of planning services and the execution of said services. We will provide beginning to end planning coordination for strategically designed events to engage your audience. For the value propositions and the target audience, the value propositions, our Corporate Canvas Company creates experiences that people will remember and value. We give you space to make an inviting and memorable environment for your customers and employees. We will provide stress-free, unique, and easy to plan and host events that cater to your brand's needs while honoring your brand what your brand represents. We will provide you with personalized, engaging, and purpose-driven environments. Hiring our event planning company will save time, energy, and your peace of mind. For the target audience, we are leaning towards luxury and lifestyle brands and corporate businesses, preferably mid to large size companies and corporations that are located in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, since that is where our office will be located. Companies that require the planning and executing of visually polished and brand identity related events. The HR and people operations teams would be provided with stress-free execution and planning of any and all events that are related to your business's needs. This is an example of what the business model canvas looks like. And I already went over the value propositions, so moving on to key partners and key resources. The key partners for our company are going to be venues and vendors, as well as decor providers and other service providers that may align with whatever the event needs. Strategic alliances and buyer and supplier partnerships are important for us. For our key resources, human resources and vendor and venue relationships are also the key resources for this company. It is also very important that the staff and employees of the company are very personable, understanding, and flexible, since they are the face of the company. Vendors and venues and other service provider relationships are also key, since they will be providing useful partnerships and advertising to reach the customer segments. The key activities for our business include client discovery, relationship management, and on-site event management. For client discovery, this is reaching new customers and discussing our value propositions. Relationship management involves understanding our clients and their brands in order to cater to the individual needs. And on-site event management is mainly focusing on problem solving of the problems that arise during the event and the most cost-efficient solutions to those problems. Next, focusing on the customer relationships, we intend to have reliable, responsive, and long-term communicative relationships with customers. We will be in communication with the customers throughout the whole entire process of planning and executing the events. We will also be accessible at all times to receive comments, opinions, and thoughts on events throughout the planning process. Consultation meetings and consistent check-in meetings will be held from the start to the end of the planning process, along with follow-ups and debriefings to ensure that all of the successes and failures are addressed and noted. Long-term relationships are beneficial to help predict the number of guests and needed suppliers for events. Next, moving on to the channels and customer segments. On the channels, we'll be using a majority of communication channels to advertise and reach our customers. Online through social media and word of mouth, along with networking, professional connections, and partnerships with venues and vendors will be large contributing factors to how we reach and engage our customers. Once the services need to be distributed, there will be direct client meetings and consultations discussing the services. Our company will secure sales with on-site event management, as mentioned before, and the events will be reported and debriefed at the consultation meeting. Brand image and morals will be discussed, and using that to plan the events and incorporating your brand's plans. The customer segments are going to be very related to the target customer, which is the corporate companies or businesses that are mid to large size, luxury and lifestyle brands. Customers need events hosted and carried out for product launches, influencer events, business meetings, VIP experiences, etc. A company that requires the planning and executing of visually polished and brand identity related events. For revenue streams, usage fees, advertising fees, and lending, renting, leasing fees are all streams of revenue that contribute to the profit of corporate canvas company. Depending on the event type and size, the pricing models could range from a flat fee to an hourly rate to a tiered package. A flat fee would ideally be for hosting the execution of events, depending on the size, whereas an hourly rate would be more for the planning and consulting of services, since each event's planning process is tailored to your company and your brand. Moving on to the cost structure. The cost structure will depend on the customer's budget and the goals for each event, making it an economies of scope and scale structure. The size of the event will determine the amount of funding and budgeting going into the service. Size of the venue, amount of decoration and designing needed, and the amount of human resources needed will all contribute to the overall cost of the service, and these costing ties into the lending, renting, and leasing fees of the revenue streams. Starting off with our BMC adjustments that I made based off of the customer interviews. The key partners and resources, I decided that it would be best to add other service providers for events to key resources and partners, since coordinating with them for events is important in keeping the flow of the environment. I mentioned changing customer segments in the part 1 of customer interviews, but decided against it after following up with part 2 of the customer interviews. But I was just talking about maybe changing the customer segments, but decided it would change the whole entire company and the purpose of the event planning. Value propositions highlighted focusing on our customers' goals and creating purpose-driven environments while being harmonious with the customer's brand values. For cost structure, since there are different levels of effort involved at different points throughout the process, the economy of scope and scale is the best option for this cost structure. The key and activities, problem solving was added to the key activities, since this is one of the major things that people pointed out they would want help with throughout the process. Customer relationships is focusing on long-term customer relationships, since they will be beneficial to determining the predicted amount of guests at each event, which is important to know throughout the planning process to help with all the little details. Moving on to the marketing plan, we're starting out with the product. Corporate Canvas Company's product is the service of planning and hosting an event. This company will provide your corporate luxury and lifestyle brands with an inviting and engaging space for whatever purpose you need to fulfill. Corporate Canvas Company is a creative partner for brands that sees events as an opportunity to combine creative designs and corporate precision to make memorable experiences. Moving on to the place. Once the services need to be distributed, there will be direct client meetings and consultations discussing the service. Our company will secure sales with on-site event management, as mentioned earlier. The events will be reported and debriefed, and the consultation meetings will consult the brand image and morals to be used throughout the event planning processes. Our business will be located in the DFW area. So this moves us on to the physical environment, which we will be there to physically support you and your brand until we're able to expand to other cities. So all clients will need to be located near the DFW area. The office that we will be located in will be a smaller to mid-sized professional environment that is comfortable and productive space for our employees to feel creative while working, with a space to host meetings with customers to discuss and show them our capabilities for event management. The price will be involving usage fees, advertising fees, and lending, renting, leasing services, which, as mentioned earlier, all streams of the revenue that contribute to the profit of Corporate Canvas Company. Usage fees resulting from the use of event planning services. Advertising fees could occasionally occur for promoting a brand, and lending, renting, and leasing fees would be a result of renting venues, decorations, food, etc. Depending on the event type and size, the pricing models could range. For the promotion of Corporate Canvas Company, we'll be focusing on personal selling along with direct marketing. This includes emailing, messaging, and reaching out to businesses that we feel could benefit from our services. We will also have online marketing through social media networks and our website and online platforms. Networking, professional connections, and partnerships with venues and vendors and other service providers will be a large contributing factor to how we reach and engage our customers. Processes. The delivery of our service occurs while the hosting events and the execution of the events. We will have a team of on-site event management, which will usually include team members who have worked on the planning and coordinating of the event with you. The team members will be present to assist with any and all questions, problems, or issues that occurred during the execution of the events. The people of our business are the most important part. Our team members and employees will have experience in on-the-spot problem solving and organizational skills. It is also important that our employees be personable and easy to work with so that our customers feel comfortable sharing concerns or issues throughout the processes, and our team will adapt to improve those services in response. Thank you for listening to my final presentation of Corporate Canvas Company. We hope that you consider letting Corporate Canvas Company make your vision a reality.